as we speak, with all of the appurtenances that is there. It's modeled after the Shongai farm, where it's a 50 hectares farmland, and all of that's going on in their nurseries, cocoa development, plantation, and all of that, palm, and so on and so forth. Move on. So the idea is to ensure that this farm settlement grows in every local government as they provide the land. And there was the launch of the Arise Home Farmers Scheme, which was to enable people own farms and gardens at home. The government set up a portal to allow people who own gardens and farms in their residences to log onto the portal, show a short video of 2 minutes, put in a landmark. Then the verifiers will go confirm this is available, and they had support of $500,000 naira each to support their domestic farming in their homes and compound. And that continues. The first scheme went on, and it was digitally propelled. You can't just say you must be verified. You must be on the system. You must be known that you're actually doing this. And of course, there's been so much done in terms of rural access to agricultural marketing projects, rural access to the palm produce, tomato processing and equipment and support to farmers, and then activation of the Young Farmers Club in schools to let the young ones imbibe this farming spirit in them early enough. Move on. So that's all that you can see. We'll give you the details of how many tons, the distribution that have gone on in different parts of the state, including registration and training of farmers to enable them have access to this input. Go on. Then, to enable the vulnerable have energy to even farm at home, His Excellency the Governor commends the distribution of free food to the vulnerables. So far, over 500,000 households and persons have been reached through the direct food distribution. It's gone through phases 1 and 2. Phase 1 was the voucher system, where people within the market were held redemption centers. And these vouchers were given to the vulnerable as contained in the social register of the nation, the Akwa Ibom component. So it wasn't like, come and take because you know me. No, you must be, the social register was a plank on which the program ran. It didn't end there. That ran through the State Bulk Purchase Agency, established by the Umoino administration. And then he also, he added 2 heavy trucks. So the phase 2 was now the distribution directly, taking this food to every local government, 5,000 per movement per local government. I went through the 31 local government area here with them, and we saw the distribution, and those are the type of people, they were always very excited. Those are the trucks of the Bulk Purchase Agency. Phase 3 will start on August 20th. Another round of distribution of food to the vulnerable. The idea was to let them have the power to go to farm. Because this is, of course, an interventionist program. There's no way you can have this throughout. It's just an interventionist program. Next slide. Yeah, infrastructure maintenance, roads and bridges. Move on. Right now, we have, so from statistics, you will see we have about 105 road projects, including the roads inherited from previous administrations. 105 of about 771 kilometers in 2 years of one government. Move on. So you can see the data. That's 105. We use Senatorial District 45, Eke 30, Ikotogbene 30. That gives you the 105. And of course, you can see the number of completed ones, ongoing ones, and so under their rights and inherited projects. So the Governor Moino is running a data-driven governance in the state. These are verifiable numbers. You will see where they are. Move on. The details are here. You'll get all of it. And of course, the source is the Ministry of Works. That is the ministry that supervises all of this construction. Go on. We've gone through all of this. Infrastructure, the details of all of those projects, you can see direct labor, indirect, the number of employment and people that it has engaged in the different projects within the state. Move on. That continues. Keep going. Those are the numbers. These are some of the roads. For people from the Korekbene area, this was one of the first projects he started, the Goretti School Road that was, it was in a total state of disrepair. Children were falling into drains and all of that. Move on. That's what it looks like now. Move on, move on. Yeah, of course, right by road, keep moving. These are all the things we talked about. Keep running. These are all the new road projects that are going on in the state. Go on, go on. You can see all of that. Go on, go on, go on, go on. It's in different parts of the state. Right now, go back to security. So right now, the state has, His Excellency has invested significantly in security management in the state. And that's why Akwa Ibom today is one of the safest states in the nation, in the Nigerian nation today. There's so much investment in that direction, beyond just beyond supporting the security agencies, supporting the coastal operations with gunboats and all of that. It's also supported them with trucks, helices, vehicles that's helping the process to run. And then he went on to set up what is called the Ibom Community Watch, security persons recruited from various local government areas. The first 500 in, the intention is to have 4,500. And of course, the process is on. And so what's their work? To provide intelligence and support the security agencies to do their work, since we may not have enough number to cover all of the nooks and crannies of the state. And in addition to that, digitizing the security process, the Security and Command Center is under construction now on Brook Street near the Arise Resort. It will, by the grace of God, be finished before the end of the year. So this will have a total coverage of the state from one location to see what is happening, be able to track reports, and be able to have adequate surveillance around the state. Yeah, these are some of the new projects. The Senior Citizen Center. Where is Dr. Itanwan? She's the delivery advisor on this project, and some beautiful concepts first to happen in the entirety of that part of the country. So the idea, that was the starting. The idea is to have a center for the elderly persons so they don't feel abandoned, and that will be replicated in every senatorial district for a start, and will proceed to be replicated in all local government areas as we proceed. Itam Industrial Park is changing. The old industrial park that was started by previous administration, this is what it will be. Work has started, contracts have been awarded for internal roads, perimeter fencing, and all of the appurtenances needed at that industrial park to allow small holding companies and factories operate from that location and be able to provide services to the state. Right now, in tourism, that is what will be of the 5,000 capacity convention center at the old Tropicana ground. If you remember, that's a project that was started by the administration of the current Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio at the time, but it wasn't finished. Alongside the hotel at the Tropicana complex where you have that. So His Excellency has taken up this project. He's moving on right now. There's serious construction going on. I think we have a 12-month deadline on that project. Going by the delivery timelines, it will be delivered. And that will make Uyo the next location after Lagos to have a capacity for 5,000 convention center in the entirety of that, Nigeria. So work is going on there. The 200-bed Ibom Hotel that is in that location is also on that construction now. It will be finished same time with the convention center. And His Excellency has gone on to add a shopping city to the same location. So that will now be a location for convention, relaxation, shopping, and all of that. That's where you have the cinema. It's all within that ecosystem. Well, within the airport development, there are 10 projects going on in the airport right now. The completion of the full completion and putting to use of the new terminal building is ongoing. So further investment is being made to ensure that that terminal building is finished and put to use. There are a lot of things still going on. There are 10 projects. The apron and the taxiway The apron and the taxiway, they've been linked now, and that's getting ready. And of course, you have the surveillance contract that's going on that covers the entirety of that aviation ecosystem up to the city as you approach the airport. That is going on. And then the finishing touches is being put to the MRO. And then there is an aviation village, a completely new project that is under construction now, all within the airport ecosystem. Next slide. Of course, you can see that's the terminal building, as it were, but we've gone past all of this now. That's the access road, and of course, there's the fencing, the perimeter fencing of the airport again, because some hoodlum had stolen some of the gauze coverings and so on. So that the government is reinvesting to protect that whole airport system. This is a model, go back, this is the model of what the new, for those who know the AKBC, this is what it will be like. The administration has put final touches to the commencement of this construction right there on the Brook Street, around where you have the Arise Resort and where you have the Security and Surveillance Center on the approach to Government House. Move on. Yes, we've talked about rural development, rapid growth, of course, access to all 369 wards, and this is also designed to match the SDGs 1, 2, and 10. Move on. Job Creation Index, we've gone through that. Move on, you will get the details. Then the Arise Initiative for Job Creation Index, you can see all of that. And of course, the total amount spent and given to different people. You can see the water projects. We have 10 of them. The one that touches so hard so much was the commissioning. For those from Ini local government, if you know where Ogu is, in Itumbunusa, you know that they don't have water. You know that what it takes. If successive administrations have struggled to get water to Ogu, but at least this was cracked, and that's the water he drank from at the commissioning of the water, reticulated 5 kilometers within the community. And there are 10 of them in the 10 federal constituencies. Move on. Those are some of the other ones. This is one project that is very, very, there's something that touches the heart of His Excellency, the Compassionate Homes Initiative. It's targeting 400 in the first 4 years. So far, 205 have been finished and handed over to beneficiaries. You can see the kind of places that we're living in. That's where a human being lived in. So he decided to replace this with a brand new 2-bedroom apartment, solar powered, with all their facilities furnished for people who are living in this type of place. 205, I think 206 as we speak, have been delivered to these people. And he doesn't need to know them. There's no recommendation, nothing. It's just by information. Oh, there's this kind of person. He sends his team, his project team, to go verify. Once he confirms that such a person deserves to be given a home, it's done. You can imagine those who live in that. How would they access the government house or know how to reach the governor? So this is a project for the people who really need help. And it's gone on like that. And sometimes, that's the governor himself, reaching out and giving these people hope and giving them a sense of belonging, showing that he was elected to cater for them. So we're showing you this to see that's where someone was living in. And so they replaced that with that building. And of course, that is the living room, furnished with everything, television, refrigerators, and all of that within different villages. And it doesn't end there. It also adds a startup fund of $500,000 for each beneficiary. Start some local trading or whatever you can do within the community to support those who have benefited from this. Go on. Yes. On the housing, I'm sure you must have heard, the Grace Estate, what His Excellency decided was to donate 150 homes to civil servants from level 01 to 7, the barest people in this public service. So the first 150 people benefited from these homes, and they already have their keys. Some of them have moved in. And of course, that is at that level. The next level is the wet luxury estate. So this one is coming up now. It's about being finished. And of course, it's well appointed. This, for some of you living here who want homes, this will be up for grabs very soon. So you should be ready to come and pick one apartment in a word housing. For the other one, are for those who have no capacity. And then there will be another scheme to further support the public servants. Move on. Yes, opening and broadening the investment outlay. I think this was too fast. I need to talk to you about education. In the educational area, right now, 31 local government areas will benefit from the model schools, fully furnished, computerized school system. You'll see that as we proceed. And right now, and the model healthcare facilities. You must have seen some of them. We will get to that. This is the commissioning of some of those healthcare facilities, which the Minister for Health in Nigeria did say that those will go for cottage hospitals and smaller general hospitals in some places because they are quite big and have every amenities and support facilities, including residencies for the resident doctors and nurses working in the facility. Ditto for the schools. If you get to the one in Brook Street or the one in different local government areas, you will notice that we have staff quarters for teachers and head teachers in these schools, restoring what used to be in those days. So you can have compound teachers and masters catering for the children in the schools that are computerized, play area with dispensaries and a health support system, and of course, feeding areas within the school system. So this has also supported the growth of both the educational enrollment as well as patients' care in the healthcare sector. That's what the model healthcare center looks like. I think this one is at Ikonuko in Ibesikwa Sultan. This is going on in every local government. Go on. Yeah, that's the inside of the healthcare centers. And go on. Yeah, that's the one in Uyo and in different local government areas. That's the inside. This is the ambulance service. Go back. The ambulance service of the state has been launched, and right now there's 24 hours ambulance support within the state with the toll-free call numbers, and it's really helping the state to support medical emergencies. Move on. Yeah, aviation development. You know the story. Ibom Air has opened Akwa Ibom and placed Akwa Ibom in the global aviation map today. So I wonder what would have been of Akwa Ibom today if we had no Ibom Air. How would we even get in or get out? So the three major gateways, road, air, and water, which will come with the Deep Seaport project. And of course, you know of the maritime ecosystem that are being developed in Oron as we speak. The entirety of the shore line and the beach area in Oron is now being rebuilt to restore the marine transportation in that flank and then restore decent commercial and trading activities in that area. You know what is happening. Already 4 aircrafts have been invested in to add to Ibom Air's fleet, and the numbers are growing. This is part of what we talked about, the terminal building, the aviation village project. And that's the aviation village project is a complete project that has housing, schools, and every residential access for those within that ecosystem. We talked about security management earlier. Those are the trucks that were given to the security agencies, minibuses, trucks, and all of that. Move on. Yeah, that's the Ibom Community Watch. That's the day of the launch. And they are uniformed and trained. That is the maritime security support system, internal security, that's managed by the Ministry of Internal Security and Waterways. Move on. Educational advancement, we've talked about that already. Out of the 31, 24 have been executed. The others will follow, because every local government was asked under the one project per local government to nominate a project. So either healthcare or school, depending on which one came first. And that's how it's gone. So you can look at the numbers. Now, this is the proposed model secondary schools, and this will start next. That's what it will look like, full boarding secondary school, and there will be 3 first as pilot in the 3. Okay. So we will have 3 of these coming up in the 3 local government, 3 senatorial districts as pilot, and then gradually it will extend to other local government areas. Move on. That is the aerial view of what the model secondary school will look like, with all of the blocks and appurtenances that will follow that project, laboratories, school books, and all of that. Move on. Move on. Move on. Yeah, hold on, but come back. Yeah, I talked about the model primary school earlier on. I think the image came a lot earlier, a lot later. That's what it looks like. For those who know, that is the CKS. For those who know, this is what it is. You have the staff quarter, you have the play area, you have a gated community, and so on, that makes the children feel good in an educational setup. When the vice president came to Uyo, he was very curious and went to see this school. He sat in one of the computer labs and went through all of that and commended the administration of His Excellency Pastor Omoino, Governor of Akwa Ibom State, for putting up this, and encouraged him to continue to do so. Next. Yeah, that's the details of the programs and some of the investments made in the educational sector. Yeah, that is the one in Eket, and so on. That's the one in Abak, Oron Township, Oruonam, different ICA, local government, just to let you know that this is going on in the different places. Of course, this was the exchange program for the children to the United Kingdom, to also let them have a feel of what education looks like elsewhere. And then this is one thing that is quite mind-boggling. This is what His Excellency the Governor decided to convert over 70 hectares of those gullies of despair off Brook Street, Etimusanga, and so on, around the parameters of Brook Street, into the back of the government house. That's what it looked like. If I don't know, those who know that area, there's a building there that I think the man who had it died of heartbreak because the gully was taking his house and his hotel before him. He died the day we went there. The wife relieved the stories and was so excited that government could listen to them and come to that place. But what did the governor do? He said, is it just enough to invest in the remediation? No. So what do we convert this to? So we can have value for the investment of billions of naira in getting this whole place back to proper habitation. He now went on to begin what is called the Arise Resort today. So you can see from the beginning of construction what it looked like. And the idea was to now turn it to a tourism destination, turn it to a project that will be a big show, a showpiece for Akwa Ibom State. And that work is going on. Those are the preliminary points. Go back. You can see the governor and the SSG and the contractors, Messrs. Bulletin, reviewing the plan and at the time. Move on. So this is the model of what the Arise Resort will eventually be. It's gone very far, probably about 80%, and you'll see. So it's a resort that has a 9-hole golf course within that setting. It has what's it called? Lakes, artificial lakes with floating bars. Then it comes with lounges and restaurants, and then you have the children play area, you have the indoor sports, outdoor sports area, and then you have the banquet or conferencing facility within that same location, and then there will be an internal rail for children to run around if they so wish and go back. And then within that facility, which will be solar powered as you can see, and then there is a 20 well-appointed guest apartment within that same facility. 15 numbers, 2-bedroom, and 5 numbers, 3-bedroom. All self-standing apartments within that resort. I'm sure some of you would want to spend your Christmas when you bring your family in those resorts. They're well made, and you will see. Move on. Okay, of course, this is part of the tourism drive, the Christmas. The Christmas Unplugged, the amphitheater right there on Ododoma that now hosts the Christmas Unplugged yearly and driving high-end traffic every year. And move on. Move on. Yeah, of course, the Golden Initiative for All. That is the Office of the First Lady. They're doing a lot in supporting women, supporting children, and so on and so forth in the state. Different programs. You have programs for the elderly where they are supporting the elderly people, 500 of them, 600 of them every month, with a payment of a token 50,000 for each of them, and they've done probably about 7,500 so far, and it continues like that. There's a lot they're doing in that area, and you can see all of that. Other focal areas at ICT, you know that His Excellency is running a data-driven administration. He set up a different ministry for science and digital economy, and that's aggregating all of the ICT elements to propel the e-governance drive of the administration. So the system is gradually working on an automated plank, as allowing a portal-based and a digital approach to even salary management, recruitment processes, procurement, and all of that. Those are all digitized processes, and it continues, including payment of bursary. They're all digitized, no physical payment. Everything gets on one touch on the system. All beneficiaries get, you can't get it twice because the system will sweep you out. And that's also happening with pensions and gratuities, where he inherited about 92 billion of outstanding gratuities backlog from different areas. Right now, 78 billion have been paid in about 2 years, 78 billion so far. And he's continuing the payment, saying he needs to level it out so that we can now be in a situation that is being brought to par. So it has now become a monthly thing. And of course, that's part of what I was explaining of the e-governance and digital interventions. I've talked about the payment, talked about the bursary, and then the youth employment scheme and portal, the Aqua GIS that is being put together for land administration and ease of processing of CFOs. Move on. Move on. Yeah, that's for instance, the youth employment portal. That's the interface. Quickly, move on. Move on. Move on, move on. Yeah, move on. Sports. Under sports, the Akwa Ibom Sports Festival will roll out in September. The idea is to bring back all of the sporting activities. I think recently, 2 weeks ago, he approved the 600 million for replacement of sporting equipment that have gone down over time. And that's going on. That will also come in support of the sports academy that we talked about, that will be built somewhere around the Eket area. I think land has been secured in the Eket area for the development of the sports academy for the state. Human capital development is getting serious traction in the state. Through IBOM-led, so many young people have been trained and empowered, some with 750,000, some with $500,000 naira, depending on their categories. They are trained and empowered. Some tailoring, shoemaking, you can see them, and then they get rewarded. This is in addition to the overall empowerment scheme. For instance, there's a 2 billion traders fund that is being distributed to beneficiaries in all federal constituencies and from their local government as His Excellency goes for each town square meeting. Today was Uyo. I'm sure you monitored, those of you who watched. Today was Uyo. And I think in Uyo today, about 485 million was released to beneficiaries in Uyo today alone. And then D2 for different federal constituencies. That's in addition to the farmers grant, 2 billion, to traders grant, 2 billion, and then there is also the equipment support and MSME fund. The beneficiaries will get up to 5 million naira to support equipment, and then you have a system that follows through. It's not just like throwing 5 million at someone, no, that won't happen. Once the business is identified and that support will come to the tune of 5 million, aspects will go to equipment. The other aspects will go into running cost. And then you have a system that follows through to be sure that this is happening. We've talked about maritime transportation and development of the Oron Maritime Corridor and the construction of jetties, environmental management. Yes, Akwa Ibom is still one of the cleanest states in this country, in Nigeria, as we speak. The environmental agency is doing its work, and with the Ministry of Environment to ensure that the state is kept clean. That's the project at the shoreline protection aspect of the maritime development. You can see those who know the area will know. Workers' welfare, I've talked about that. Move on. We've talked about security and support. We've talked about special intervention and food distribution, asset management and investment. So the governor did an inventory of the assets of the state and found out that we had some moribund, non-yielding assets. And he decided that he needed to turn these assets to wealth for the state. One of them is if those who know the old lodge at Bishop Aboya they call in Victoria Island, that is what is coming on there. Utilizing the moribund asset of Akwa Ibom State to turn it to an investment that will be money yielding. So this is the Ibom Towers. That is the 18, well, if you add the paint, maybe 19 story building, commercial building in Lagos. That is what that is being made for. Already work is going on. They've piled up, the substructure is coming out, and it's intended that this will be completed in the next 18 months. Move on. That's part of it. You can see, go back. You can see that's what used to be in that place. That was the finished asset that used to be in that place. So that Bishop Aboyade code that was acquired in 1991 that got totally dilapidated is being replaced with what you are seeing here, which will be a money earner. You know what the Lagos real estate market is, particularly in that part of Lagos, Victoria Island. And then, of course, the honors, His Excellency has been recognized severally by different forward-looking organizations. But before getting to this, the asset in Abuja is also being converted. The old Akwa Ibom house will become a 4-star Ibom hotels. That was the image you saw earlier. That will be brought down completely because any asset in the central area in Abuja is a money spinner. And that will come with a 4-star hotel and an apartment that will be sold to those who need to buy. And of course, you recover your investment and then have something that's still yielding money in the plan of Akwa Ibom, assuming there is no oil revenue. So what do you do? So the next steps, there are about 60 priority projects. Move on. 60 of them. And why these projects? They were carefully chosen in different areas. I've talked about them, some in agriculture, rural development, tourism. Move on, I will spare you all this. This is a spot back. That is the proposed Abuja hotel and apartment. Move on. I've shown you this, a work in progress. It's still a priority project. The citizens, the elderly center, the farm, the airport, and the convention center. Move on. Of course, I talked about the model schools. They're all categorized into the priority projects. The Rice Resort. Move on. Then the city bus with CNG transport system. So that's already, the orders have been made. We have a team in Turkey right now that went for pre-shipment inspection. So the city transportation within Uyo Metropolis in the first instance, and then it will now extend to other local government areas. Of course, with a bigger plan for a state rail line. Part of the priority for the Oron Jetty, I'm sure I didn't mention to you that 2 ferries have been ordered already. The Nigerian Naval Dockyard is already building that for the state government to restore the maritime transportation between Oron and Calabar. So the ferries are nearing completion and will soon be brought into the water. This is one big project that is in the making. That is the new Ibom International Hospital. And then a lot of people will ask the first question, what of the Ibom multi-specialty? Yes. What of the Ibom multi-specialty? I'm sure. So let me throw the question in and also answer it. Are you there? Move on. No, go back. Go back. So the idea behind this is Ibo multi-specialty will be refocused. It's not abandoned, it's not closed. It's still running as we speak. There's a CMD, there are doctors working there, and it's still running. But it will be refocused because modern day healthcare, all of the robotic medicine and everything that you need to do, you will need to bring down the place if you want it to be what you are seeing in this place. So the idea is to refocus that hospital and develop a new one alongside within the medical corridor with, I think, 350 bed, 29 departments in medical specialty. And while the old one will be refocused, all of them will run within the same medical corridor. Same thing like the elderly people's home, the mother and child hospital will all run within that medical facility. And I don't think there's any investment that's too much for healthcare. I don't think so. Move on. Well, we've talked about this before. Some of you will remember that is the old Ibom Hotels at the Tropicana that was uncompleted. Work is going on there now, and the work is in progress. Of course, this is all what it will look like at the moment. Yes, go on. Move on, next steps, move on. These are all the priority projects we've mentioned already. Move on. Move on. We've talked about it. Hold on. Go back. Go back. Yes. Actually, that plan has changed because the number, the bed size is 350. The strength of this healthcare infrastructure is to align with the renewed hope pillar in investing in healthcare and improving quality medical care nationwide. It's also intended to be, it's not intended to be a civil service run system. No. It's intended to be a venture that will run like Ibom Air and succeed. That same model. Even all of the hotel and infrastructure that the state owns, the old Ibom hotels and golf resort, the 4-point Sheraton at Ikorekbene, the governor had directed that a management system be put to ensure that these assets run the same model that Ibom A is running successfully. That is the model that all of these assets will be put to. So it's not going to be a civil service structure that you won't know who is doing what and who is not doing. Excuse me, move on. So these are some of the projects we've mentioned, some of this before. Yes, move on. Yeah, we just put up a little bit of the highlights. I'm sure you will see it in some of the documents that you have, just to give you a little bit of a summary of what's going on within the workers' ecosystem: tourism, education, security, food, agriculture, compassionate home, youth development, training and empowerment, and all of that, housing, and so on and so forth. Move on. Yes, we're now coming to the end. So we are saying that Akwa Ibom is open for business. So those who are ready to do business should come. Akikop is ready to drive you through these processes and enable Akwa Ibom continue to grow under the visionary administration of His Excellency Governor Umar Basi Eno, PhD. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you,
have
Honorable.
Questions, we will take your questions.
Honorable Commissioner Anyekan Omana. Please give him a hand. Thank you so much. All right, folks, because of the time constraint, the question will be direct.
Thank you.
We're not going to be rehazing. If somebody else asks a question, please use your mental capacity not to ask the same question. On that note, while we are waiting, while we're waiting for the noble lady Helen Eno Obaraki, the Coordinator Office of the First Lady of Akwa Ibom State Government, representatives of the Governor, His Excellency Pastor Mono, while we're waiting for her to give the remarks, we're going to take a few questions. And the first person, I'm going to be doing it in local government. Thank you so much. Just because you are getting a giso, that is why. Next time when you come to any event, sit in the front.
And my local government starts with A in Tobak. Good evening, everybody, and good evening, Your Excellencies. I've listened to the blueprint. Everything looks fantabulous. But my issue is, almost all of the projects is talking about how the state government is going to make money for the state. My issue is, what are the machineries in place for young entrepreneurs to be able to do business in the state and make money, just like the government is going to make money? And I've also seen in tourism, because that's my area of specialty minus being into the IT space, everything there looks beautiful. But I've been to several islands and tourist destinations, and I've noticed that if you develop a tourist destination very well, human beings or young people in that location will be able to do businesses. Like now, if they should turn like Ibno Beach to a tourist destination, lots of young people will be able to do businesses, and not just the government that will make money. So what are the machineries that the government putting in place so that young people would actually harness what government is doing for them to make money for themselves, not just waiting for government to hand them benefits and do an EBT program? Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to let him answer, but your question was longer than the speech that the national president gave.
Let's take 3. Let's take more questions.
Okay, that is one. Lady G.
Queen G, Columbia, South Carolina, back. And I see about Ibom Air going in progress. Is there any way I can schedule a flight so that I benefit them? Because when we are coming back, sometimes I am in Lagos, I get marina about Lagos. Is there any way flight up Dakar early? Not to get Dakuket. And number 2, I be the governor probably okay with the international airport. Are you all still working on that? Come be my by city to Lagos. My young kid, Nigwa Kwai box a song.
All right.
First of all, I want to thank and appreciate the state governor. Your Excellency, Honorable Commissioner, I'm going to direct this to you. Commissioner for Information, please your attention, sir. I want to thank the state government for what he has done for the state with the help of all of you. I'm very particular in the command center. Why I don't want you to reveal the very strategic plans of the command center, because it's a security matter, I would seriously suggest that the security center have the ability to receive real-time information, real-time, and I use the word real-time information, that will solve crime, and I'll tell you that. That's one. We can get it directly from drone, flying over the waterways that will be relayed there. Similar to what we use here for the war fighter, to be able to detect, identify, neutralize any threat, because there'll be no need for a crime to happen via the Oran Marine, where they cannot get the real information and neutralize that impact immediately. The second thing, and I stop, to be able to detect waves, to be able to identify kidnappers asking for ransoms, and their technologies that could be discussed in private to do that in real time. Thank you, sir.
All right, Chief Women.
Well, thank you, and recognizing the delegations and members of this great association. My name is Chief James. It is very commendable to have the Honorable Commissioner of Information to present the blueprint quote. And also, about 10 years ago, I asked this question. That was in Philadelphia. The beautification of the state. At that time, I focused the question on Uyo Business District and the maintenance. It is very, very good to hear all the projects here. Some of them are very strategic, very impactful. However, my concern, the same question I put out 10 years ago was, how do we maintain, preserve some of these projects? For example, what prompted me to ask this question was, I was at Uyo at the then, or still called Secretariat along a back road. If you guys remember, the building was built some years ago, well kept. But when I got there were all shrubs, it was full of algae, it was very dirty. Thank God I was able to reach out to the governor's office. Within 2 days, they went there to clean it up. So my question was, all these projects we're talking about, what do we put in place? Some of the places here in the United States, they've been built hundreds of years ago, but they still look new. Look at this hotel. So my question is that, what do we put in place to maintain and preserve it? Thank you.
All right. Hold on.
Excuse me, Dr. Kwan, let's respond to this one, and then
Okay.
we'll take another 3 from this side.
Okay, yes.
Yes. Okay, very quickly, let me start from the last one. You talked about beautification and maintenance of infrastructure and assets. That's why His Excellency Governor Mono set up the State Asset Management Agency. It was in realization of the need to harness the totality of the assets and put together a maintenance structure. So that agency has been constituted, a chairman has appointed, and the board appointed and management. So that is their responsibility. And I think they are harnessing all of the documentation and the assets and developing a plan towards a structured maintenance. Right now, the secretariat you talked about, it is the office of the head of the civil service that has been keeping that place, but asset management is going to look after all of those things in due course. Beautification, you talked about, yes. Beautification projects have been on from previous administration to present administration, and that will continue. Akwa Ibom still remains one of the most beautiful states in the Federation of Nigeria. That is the truth, because we have connectivity that's second to none across all 31 local government areas. And of course, the beautification had gotten from, like you mentioned, from the Governor Kwabio's time to Governor Odom Emmanuel's time, who took it to Eket area, and Governor Omeno is also now adding his own aspect of the beautification, and it's also going to extend the dualization. For instance, the dualization on the Nungudo Road, there's another leg that is taking off from Nungudo all the way to Nsiribum, to Nsirubum, to hit the Eket Itinan dual carriageway. That's a new project that will be flagged up very, very soon. And what that will do is that it will continue the dual connectivity that various administrations will continue to do in the state. Akwa Ibom has been very lucky, I must say this, to have very forward-looking governors from 1999. And they have all been making contributions, and everyone comes. You've talked about Ibom, talked about all of that. This is a vision that every government has continued to add value to. Someone talked about international status. Yes, it is an international airport, Victor Ota International Airport. It is. But for you to do that direct international connectivity, there are certain things that must be in place in the first instance. That is why the international terminal building will have to be in place to allow you hold customs, immigrations, Air Force, NDLEA, customs, police, which other one? There are so many that you need to put in place before you can get up and then bring in internet. That's the whole idea. It's closer for us to go to Johannesburg from Uyo than from Lagos, because you're going downwards. It's work in progress. So that is for first, let us even be happy. We're able to go to, with our own airline, go to Accra. More routes will add as more aircrafts come and more infrastructure gets in place. And I think it's a very good way to think, because we all desire this. Somebody asked about young entrepreneurs and tourism. Yes, the young entrepreneurs have opportunity in their Governor Omeno scheme. That is why first you have the Youth Employment Portal, where youth of Akwa Ibom State have been encouraged to get on the portal, and then there is an unemployment benefit for those who have come in, and support fund, which is supposed to go to 5,000 per month as a basic support of 50,000 per head. And so much money has been spent in that direction to harness those who have nothing doing and who need to do stuff. And beyond that, there is also the procurement portal, where the governor has made it very clear that he wants young people who have capabilities, who have what to show, to get on the portal and access jobs without knowing anybody. There are over 500 jobs on ground now in various areas that those jobs are waiting for those who have capabilities to get in and bid and get their jobs. You don't need to know anybody. And a lot of our young men must begin to look in this direction. They must look in this direction. Apart from the employment that was recently announced, 3,000, 1,000 in teaching service, 1,000 in medical service, and 1,000 in core civil service. And of course, the recruitment portal is open now. Unlike before, it's not something you say, I will go and take form. And because I have an uncle who is PAMSEC, I know, you must first get into the portal, and the portal will strip the precondition for pre-qualification, and then get all of that out in the first instance. And that's going on to encourage you. You talked about tourism. Yes, tourism is also growing. If you know, His Excellency the Governor is big on tourism. I talked to you about, we discussed the Rice Resort here. It's holding more than 2,000 people who are working, providing services in that facility. People are doing interior decoration, people are doing supplies. There's a lot of chain progress that's going on. Different categories of people are providing services in that place. There's an aggregation of the tourism assets in the state and the development of a tourism roadmap, which is leading us to what is called the Tourism Summit that will hold later in the year to harness, aggregate all of the tourism assets of the state, including those moribund ones. We have some assets in Ikorobasi, we have assets in Itu, that could yield serious revenue once developed. Even the Blue River in Ukanafon, the governor had directed the Ministry of Works to go and survey the place and commence the construction of an access road to that Blue River. Because we had a situation where a UNDP team came and they wanted to see the Blue River. And it was on that occasion that the governor said, no, I'm not too sure that we have good access to the place. He directed the Ministry of Works and even directed a contractor to go and look at it and submit their bid. So those are some of the things happening. The one in Uitu, the Merisleso area, the road construction is going on at the moment in that area to open up that place and create access to Merisleso. And that will work even as the Calabai-Itu road with what the federal government is promising. If they can take it to that point, it will create the right type of access. I think those are some of the points I noted, and if there are other, we will take questions from this part.
Yes, I will take three, and the first person will be this lady dragging my trousers for no reason at all.
Take three from here, and then we wrap it up.
All protocol observed. So, some people say at the end of business is open, that we should come in and open business.
Thank you so much. Please, can we please rise and welcome the representative of the governor,
ladies and gentlemen,
the coordinator of the office of the First Lady,
arrival of the noble lady, one and only
Helen Eno Obareke. A round of applause for her.
Office of the First Lady, Akwa Ibom State, and the representatives of the governor, His Excellency Pastor Omano. Please give her a hand. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Excellency, the representative of the governor of Akwa Ibom State and coordinator of office of the First Lady of Akwa Ibom State, Mrs. Helen Eno Obareke, you're welcome. By way of the briefing, Your Excellency, what we have done here was to begin the process. We've gone through the presentation of the scorecard completely on a slideshow, and then we were at the moment taking question and answer, the interactive session. Thereafter, we will now listen to the speech of the governor before calling it a day for this town hall. Thank you so much. Please, we can take the next round of 3 questions from this side.
So, I'm in Grace Akpafiong, and I'm from 18. And sir, you Amatangi Kobanga Education, building a new secondary school, one of the projects that you guys have going on there. I wanted to find out what happened to Itinan Institute. That belonged to you guys, and yet that whole place with the infrastructures there, that was there forever, and the government have allowed it to run down. So just what? Itinan. Healthcare, you mentioned, sir. There's a Itinan hospital, but there are no doctors there. Recently, my cousin, Commander, had a stroke or heart attack. Ebeneda kufo iba wama. Ekeke wo, eteke doctor iba. Ke doctor ba arong ku uyo. So how do we consider that a hospital when there is no one to run it or to see, unless and that our blood is not red? So, for the young start business, but the biggest business is the hotel. A hotel. So, is that the going businesses that we should look into doing, coming in and build another hotel? Even if for Tangam, I mentioned hotel at least 3 times, new ones to come. Are there no other businesses that we could do except hotel? And how many people really visit Akwa Ibom to utilize all those society?
Thank you. I need one more person from the East Coast. You've been holding your hands up all night. This is ladies' rule. Thank you.
Society. Mbongo kwena mbuma minniaga anyama tangi koitema matangi ko abanga ambulance services. Atangi ko abanga ufok yemen for nurses and teachers. What are the safety precautions? Good for nurses, the teachers, everybody get on me. And ambulance me. I work with good ambulance. Who will be responsible for the petrol?
I can answer that one. I will. No.
Good.
Because of the time constraint, make your question one question, please. That way I can read as many as I can. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Good evening to everyone. I have to admit, before this time, I've never really been involved or even cognizant of Nigerian politics, not to speak of Akwa Ibom politics. I'm originally from, where am I from? Boykorita in Siribom, local government. The reason why I'm standing up is to ask, I'm very, very happy to see that our governor is very proactive, because if our children do not receive access to quality education, they can in no means be part of the world community in terms of education. So I'm very, very happy to see that our governor is very proactive in developing primary and secondary schools, which is where all this begins. But my question is, what are we doing in terms of developing our greatest asset? Our greatest asset is our people. What are we doing in terms of developing teachers? The reason why I'm asking that is that a few months ago, one of my friends from Nigeria sent a video where the village where he went to school in his village did not have a chemistry, biology, or physics teacher. But then they have teachers teaching everything, but nobody is expert in anything. So my question is there anything being done to develop teachers that can go back into these communities? Because everybody wants to be in the big city, because that's where the big money is. But what about creating an incentive where these teachers will become well-educated, well-qualified, certified, then go into the interior of Akwa Ibom to give our children quality education? Thank you for your time.
One more. Folks, let me say this.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's take this one so we don't lose track, and then thereafter we'll begin to engage the reverse gear. Thank you so much. Someone talked about building model secondary schools, talked about a teen and institute, building healthcare, teen and hospital, and all of that. Truth is that it's work in progress. His Excellency Governor Mono is not responsible for any infrastructure that may have gone down. You can't also stop him from developing things that he needs to develop. But of course, government will continue to cater for available infrastructure. That's why there is a ministry, there's a department that's looking after those things. And as those problems come, they are solved. I know that some hospitals have had intervention. There are some new ones coming. Some general hospitals have had interventions. And if there are ones, some that are bad, they will continue to be looked at. Successive administrations have always done that. Teen and Institute, you raised the issue. Yes, it's an old school that will also need intervention. There are so many old schools that His Excellency has also directed intervention. There was the one at Ikorataku, Eket, St. Francis. He saw it very dilapidated. He can't solve all at the same time. So he's directed direct intervention in that school. And so many others that he's done so. Yes, Teen and Institute is noted. And of course, I'm sure the Minister of Education may have captured this amongst the schools that will require intervention. And ditto for healthcare. You're talking about not availability of doctors. That's why Governor, His Excellency, has approved the recruitment of 1,000 new health workers, including doctors. You know, the Japa syndrome had taken so many doctors out of our country, so many, who were looking for elsewhere to work. So government is also recruiting more and also investing in specialization to help and encourage, and then the special allowances and things to encourage those who are on ground to have the incentive to work in the state. Somebody talked about building hotels and so on. How do you drive tourism without hotels? Where are we right now? Where are we? We're in a hotel. Yeah, there's no way we would have done this in our house, in our homes. So you need to drive tourism, and if, for instance, you what makes Lagos people go there or to Abuja? Because you have facilities that can hold people. Look at what is happening in this hotel. Akisan, Mr. President, I don't know what you did to these guys. You brought over 1,000 people here. The lift is almost collapsing because everyone is. You can imagine how much revenue has come into this place by Akisan Convention, 38 Convention alone. This is what we need to see in Akwa Ibom. That's why Akisan should come to Akwa Ibom, like His Excellency the Governor wants. So that when you bring all our children, where will they stay? They will need hotels. Not everybody that's already had built homes. They will need facilities. We need conferences. We need events. That's why we have an airline. Those who are coming into Akwa Ibom with all what is happening, we cannot today, in truth, host even the MBA. We cannot today because we will never have enough hotel rooms to even host the Nigerian Bar Association. There was a time we got the stark reality. Any big thing that comes, quality hotel rooms in Akwa Ibom State today, you cannot count 500. So we need more to drive tourism. And His Excellency is big on tourism. He's not kidding with it. Ibom Hotels is being renovated now for the first time, major renovation and golf resort to attract people. People are coming from different parts of the country to play golf in that facility. People are coming in. So once the convention center is open, if you are hosting 5,000 people, you must also think of how are you going to do, where will you keep them? Everyone that comes in is dropping money. Since we came in here, we're eating, drinking, and so on. We're making money for Arlington and for for this country and this district. So someone talked about what? Ambulance service. Yeah. For the first time, the administration of His Excellency Governor Mena set up an ambulance service in the state, with fully equipped 10-number ambulance for a start, with toll-free lines. And it is working. It is working. You can find out it is working. It's helping people. It's helping emergency rescue and healthcare. And don't forget, it wasn't there. He has just done this, because this is what is expected in this age. to have that kind of medical support that you are talking about. Someone was asking of buying fuel. Government is fueling the ambulances. Government is fueling the ambulances. It's not the patient that is buying fuel. So that is a service. It's a service that government is providing. Someone talked about teachers. Yeah, someone talked about. I'll get that to you. Yeah, you want to call it from here, or from Uyo? No, we'll give you the toll-free number. I'll give it to you shortly. And then someone talked about teachers and experts and so on. Yeah, I think more than any other time in the state, teachers have been encouraged. Special allowances, improvement in conditions, working conditions, and then, of course, recruitment of more teachers is going on. I told you about the 3,000 job opportunities that His Excellency approved, which is now, people are now applying online into the portal for recruitment. 1,000 will go to the teaching service, 1,000 to health service, and then 1,000 to core civil service. I guess with this, we have attempted answering some of the questions that you have asked. We may take just a last set and close it there. Thank you.
Okay, all right. I'm going to take this man. If you wear blue and white, I'll give you the mic.
All protocol observed.
Please, straight to your question. Say who you are,
Yeah.
what you do, and your question.
Okay, my name is Engineer Isaac Udotong. I'm the chairman for Isatong Group, and we do have a number of companies behind us, such as Fireflies, which is a leading AI company. So I have listened very well to the presentation from the Honorable Commissioner of Information. And Akwa Ibom State is an oil-producing state, but it doesn't control the oil. The another most important thing that Akwa Ibom has that can actually generate more money, more employment for our people is the human resources. The reason I say that is a country like India, which doesn't have oil, but they've developed their human resources, especially in the ICT area, in this present economy, global economy. And they put a lot of emphasis on that. And today, what India has is much more than what oil can have. So I want to know what the government...
Ask your question, sir.
Yeah, what does the Akwa Ibom State government, what is the plan to be able to develop the human resources, which is the most important asset that the Akwa Ibom has, in order to be able to provide
We have heard you, sir.
employment for the youth and for our graduates. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
This is going to be the second to the last question.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Commissioner, my name is Sika Nekwere. I'm from the Nsrata local government. My question, we are talking about ICT here. His Excellency Obong Victor Ta started a science park, Akwa Ibom. And that science park was abandoned after he left office. And we've not heard anything about that science park till now. Something started with that science park then. My second question, is there anything with that science park going on now? My second question is on fire service. We've not heard anything about fire services in Nigeria in general, but in Akwa Ibom too, state government is doing a lot. How are these ambulances being distributed to the local governments, and are there also facilities for firefighters? Thank you.
I'm going to give this lady then Boso, and that will be
So
it.
we
Thank you
take the last one.
Good afternoon. My question is about education. So you guys are building a new institution. I'm very concerned about language. I was is the governor interested in mandating local languages as the medium of education for Akwa Ibom State as a way to not lose our mother tongue? And we talk about competing in the world. We can't compete with anybody if we don't have our own identity. So I would like to see English, French, and other European languages as secondary to our own language. I know the governor of Abia State is moving that forward. The governor of Niger State is moving that forward. Cross River State Assembly recently passed a resolution to move that forward. Can we do the same?
Okay, thank you so much. Let me take those three so we can begin to wrap up.
Honorable Aniakan.
I'm coming. Let me take the three.
Okay.
Yes, there was a question on human resource development and so on. That's the whole idea. The administration is big on human capital development. And Akwa Ibom State Human Capital Index is ranking so very well in the national index at the moment because we have capacity training and retraining of workers, staff, and provision of opportunities for people to acquire knowledge. I talked about even the educational exchange program, the retraining of teachers, and so on and so forth. So that is something that's very important, and the government will continue to look at that to see how best human capacity can be developed. I told you earlier about Ibom-led and what is going on there in developing skills and developing people and training people. Recently, we had and the SAC. Recently, we had the Ibom Youth Skills, Digital Skills Week that gathered the youths of Akwa Ibom who registered, and they were trained. They went through a process. They even went through a pitch in different areas of technology and AI, and so on. Some emerged, and those who emerged winners earned good money. Some $1 million naira, some 2 million, some $500,000 to support their initiatives. So that's going on. Ditto for the SAC. So many people are under the SAC, the Dakota Skill Acquisition Center at Ikoro Daiden, and so on. Government is funding so many kids in different areas in DASAC, welding, carpentry, ICT, catering, hotels management, tailoring, different areas, animal husbandry. There's just so much. You can Google what's going on in the SAC. That's all part of human capacity development that is going on. Someone talked about, what was that? Language development, which I think is a very useful suggestion because in the secondary school curriculum, language, I know that they teach other languages like French. I'm sure of French. I'm sure of French, English. Yes, they even teach the local language. Efugi Bibio is being taught, but you've expanded it to others like Chinese. I know that there is I think a Chinese training facility somewhere in Wethousing that also is an offshoot of the Ministry of Education. So it's a useful thing for the Ministry of Education to consider because the world has become a global village. So people need to learn other international languages to function. I think, okay, to make it primary. Okay, it's noted. It's noted. The educational curriculum, the managers of the educational system will look at, when they are reassessing the curriculum, they will know if that will be relevant for our people at this time, but it's a good suggestion. So we have taken that. We appreciate your contribution. And then environmental safety. Someone talked about fire management and so on. That is important. Yes, I know that there are plans to revamp the state fire service as we speak. There are plans by the administration to revamp the state fire service and ensure that, I think one of the things His Excellency directed that he wants a plan that ensures that estates, not just having general fire service, that estates, markets, and such public facilities should have localized firefighting stations within, and I know that is in process. You also must understand that it requires budgetary provisions and financial enablement to get these things done. What I would like to add is that all of these things suggested are important. Some of the contributions are noted. We will put them all down and also brief His Excellency the Governor to see what he is able to do within available resources for the people of Akwa Ibom State. But beyond that, we will invite you as Akwa Ibom people to also take advantage of the opportunities at home. We invite you to come home, invest in your state, also do respectfully, Your Excellency, let me yield for some members of the team. I'm sure Dr. Ekuwen will have a few things to also say to you. Dr. Sir.
Thank you. I recognize His Excellency the Governor, represented by Noble Lady Helen Obarike, who is the coordinator of the Office of the First Lady, National President, the wife to my worthy successor, the SAG Dr. Mrs. Inem Enobonwa. Please note, I would like us to note that the governor of Akwa Ibom State, because the question that my brother asked, or the sister asked about hotels, one has to understand, Ibom Air is attracting guests, events. The most sought after event hosting destination in Nigeria today is Uyo, not Lagos. It's Uyo. And like Aniakan said, insufficiency of hotel rooms, where would they stay? I'm sure in the office of your husband, from where we left, lots of requests to come to you. Two, Ibom Seaport, lots and lots of needs for hotels. The medical corridor the governor is building along Ikorokbane Road, hotels will be needed. Ibom Industrial City, hotels will be needed. Sports Academy, hotels will be needed. Plenty. And the kind of security there, look at what the NIACAN presented. Online, you ask a question, where's the gentleman? That gentleman. Online, real time, number plate recognition, facial recognition, tracking of criminals, knowing their hideouts. All are embedded in the smart and safe city project of His Excellency the Governor. So you can see, it is holistic. But what I would like to say, Her Excellency, trust the governor. I have personal total faith in him. You know why? Before he became governor, this is a lot of people don't understand. This gentleman was really working on taking boys and girls off the street. He asked a question about human resource, human capital development. Ibom Air is training engineers. Ibom is training pilots. I'm a member of the board of Ibom Air. Pilots and engineers. Engineers in Aviation University in Ethiopia. Pilots in France, Toulouse, Airbus, plenty. They're all Akwa Ibomites. So holistically, he was doing a project called Ibom Ignite. That is one thing one of the things he did. As a businessman, he was not even a commissioner, he wasn't even a executive director. He was not. As a businessman, he was working on Ibom Ignite. You know what it's all about? Give boys and girls jobs to take them out of the street. That's what I like saying, which is what the governor is doing. A hungry man is what? Is that correct? Yeah. Good. A hungry man is an angry man. Is it not so? An idle mind is what? The devil's workshop. Okay, let the pound. Now, add the two. The devil's workshop is the terrible thing. Is it not so? Now, combine the two statements. If a hungry man is an angry man, and an idle mind is the devil's workshop, it means that a hungry, idle mind is an angry devil's workshop.
Bam.
And that's a serious matter. And if the devil's workshop is on its own terrible, you can imagine when it is an angry devil's workshop. That's what the governor is addressing. So be happy trust this governor, support him, encourage him. I can tell you the future is bright. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Akwabi Samo, His Excellency Pastor Dr. Moino, here represented by the daughter, Helen Obarake. Permit me to stand on all existing protocols. Just want to take the time on behalf of Akisan USA Inc. to thank His Excellency for the delegation and also hosting this wonderful, very engaging town hall meeting of the 38th Akisan National Convention. Very engaging, a lot of questions, and we learned a lot of the great things happening back home. That's what this forum is for. So with that, just want to say the next thing is our fundraising gala night. I know we would be here all night because of how engaging this is, but we do have to pause, go get ready, and come over to the fundraising gala night. That's another great event that we're really looking forward for everybody coming out to. So doors are going to open here in the next 30, 45 minutes, so please go get ready. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. No.
Hello, how you doing? My name is God's Gift Mia, Dr. God's Gift Mia. I met and spoke to your dad last year. Thank you very much.
I